In this series of shorter episodes, cultivated by his ways, not captivated by his works, we draw from Miles Stanford's The Green Letters, chapter 17, titled Cultivation. Across 10 short days, we ask, will we be captivated by works or cultivated by his ways? He made known his ways of righteousness and justice to Moses, his acts to the children of Israel. Psalm 103, verse 7. Israel lived in the shadow of God's mighty works. They were fed with manna from heaven. They drank from water gushing out of a rock. They walked through the sea with walls of water standing on either side. They saw his acts. They were sustained by them. They spoke of them, yet their hearts were not changed by them. They remained children, fascinated with what God could do for them, blind to his intentions, deaf to his voice, resistant to his dealings, and their focus was always on the outward and the immediate. Moses, however, came to know something deeper. He longed not only for the works of God, but for his ways. He discovered that to walk with God meant to submit to his dealings, to be humbled by his school, to be led through hidden years of obscurity until the cry of his heart became, "If I have found favor in your sight, show me your ways, that I may know you." Exodus 33:13. Moses was not content with the spectacular. He wanted the reality of God himself. Miles Stanford writes, and I quote, "Husbandman that he is, the beginning of God's cultivation of the hungry-hearted believer is downward. Patiently, persistently, and painfully, our Father digs into the recesses of self, more and more fully revealing to us just what we are and are not in ourselves." Cultivation is never glamorous. It does not impress the crowds. It does not satisfy the impatient. It breaks the ground and lays bare what is hidden. It exposes the self-life that resists God. And in that exposure, it prepares the soil of the heart for the life of Christ. This is why fascination with miracles or moments of power cannot produce maturity. A sign may silence our arguments, but it doesn't transform our nature. It cannot transform our nature. A wonder may thrill our senses, but it cannot crucify our self-life. And Israel saw wonders for 40 years and remained hard in heart. Moses endured the dealings of God and became a man who knew his ways. So where is our desire fixed? Do we hunger for what God can do, or do we long for who he is? Are we chasing acts to reassure us in the moment? Or are we submitting to the long, patient plow of his cultivation? It is easier to run after a fresh sign than to yield to the slow work of God digging deep into our soul. Yet only the latter produces life. Psalm 103:7 stands as a witness still today. Israel saw his acts, Moses knew his ways, and both paths remain before us. To choose his acts is to remain in infancy, living from moment to moment, always in need of the next display of power. But to choose his ways is to surrender to his dealings, to let him plow deeply, to allow him to form Christ within. It is the harder road, but it is the only road that leads to maturity.